UNPAVED, Sean Salisbury here. We're bringing authentic, real stuff to you. Hardcore opinion.
Sean Salisbury, a great NFL analyst, a former NFL quarterback.
To me, Tom Brady is the GOAT because he's done more with less than any player at that position we've ever had.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into our Tuesday edition of Unpaved. He is Sean Salisbury. Follow him at Sean Unfiltered. I'm Adam Sager. Follow me at Adam G. Sager. Follow the show at Unpaved on Rumble. Make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to Rumble. Go to Facebook. Everywhere. Like, subscribe. Get the notifications when we go live every single weekday. Sean, happy Veterans Day. I know you have family members that were in the services. I have a couple of my best friends were in the services. My grandpa. It's an important day in our country, Veterans Day, every single year. And while we honor all those that have served and are serving right now.
Well, we get to do these kind of things, Segs, because when we go to bed at night, we're safe. And you wake up in the morning, we're safe. And all the time in between, because of our incredible veterans and military men and women.
Yes.
I think one day's not enough. That's just me. We give a lot of people months, and we give a lot of people everyday talk. Our veterans, which many have paid the ultimate sacrifice, right, for us. So it doesn't hit lightly, and they're a big reason why, if not the main reason why, we get to do what we do. And my dad was 82nd Airborne in the Army, and was very proud of him and honorable and just grateful. It's the greatest. We got the greatest country in the world, and there's the reason why. So
yes, the most important people in our country are our military.
And all right, well, let's start off. Followed by our first responders, my man.
Yes,
no question about it.
Exactly, agreed. All right, start off. I mean, you want to talk about a snooze fest last night? Monday Night Football. Eagles 10, Packers 7. It was 0-0 well into the second quarter. There was one point late in the second quarter. Jordan Love had like 12 yards passing, and and Jalen Hurts had like 27. I mean, it was a brutal watch unless you love defenses dominating. And I thought both defenses played really well, but I also think the offenses weren't clicking at all when it comes to, I don't think it was just defensive reasons why the offenses weren't playing well. I thought the Packers looked all out of sorts. Jordan Love looked all out of sorts. But what was your takeaway from this game being 10-7 and because we expected a defensive battle. We talked about it yesterday.
Defensive battle.
I didn't
was
expect 10-7.
No, agreed. Put it this way: the Steelers' 70s defense wasn't playing the Chicago Bears' 85 defense. I mean, they're both good, but they're not that good. So the question we ask in all time six: we're 10, 11 weeks, counting by 11 weeks into a season that most teams have played. We're right around 10 games, I think it is. Mm-hmm. We are at the point where it's like, okay, at what point in time is the offense is going to catch up? At what point in time are the offenses going to catch up and play? I understand the first few weeks of a season because of short training camp, but the physicality of offenses, and the league's crazy. Miami looked more physical than Buffalo. Baltimore's back in the mix, and we think they're great. Now we wonder if Matt LaFleur is going to make it through with this team, and if they don't get where they're going, will he actually lose his job? I mean, there's been that little chatter that I've heard, which is crazy. I mean, you start to go up and down this league, and last night, notwithstanding as well, neither offense looked like they belong in playing in January. Yet both teams are now the Packers take a step back. We know Philadelphia is going there. The Packers are going to have, and we're going to get to Caleb Williams in Chicago, their own division. Dan Campbell taking over the play calling. Caleb Williams playing a little bit better. The Bears are as real as they've been in a while, it seems. But I don't know what's real. I just know this, Segs, in the league right now, offenses, that the inconsistency offense, which makes you look at like New England, the Colts, and the Rams and say, are those three like the cream of the crop? We'd like to say Buffalo, they got one quality win this year. Now, all of them are tough, but I'm talking about if this was like the college basketball tournament, they wouldn't get a lot of credit for their quality wins this year, yet they may have the most physical specimen in the league playing quarterback. So it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. And last night was a perfect part of it. And all you had to do was watch the last drive. I mean, Green Bay, drop back, running back has a chance to run an option. If he catches it and he gets in space and doesn't stop and the ball's on him, the little screenplay, he may hit his head on the goalpost. Then you watch the deep over route, bam, hits a guy in the hands, and I know they're hurting at wide receiver, boom, lays the ball on the ground. Ball should have been caught. Then you get you get a third down where the play call, it's like, okay, well, we missed that. And then you get to fourth down and you haven't moved the ball at all, and you decide to run the interior and your illegal formation, and you lay the ball on the ground. I mean, every single thing that could happen late in that for the Packers, I'm talking about, that's how their offense looked. And that was the most important drive of the game. Why? Because, well, they needed to go down and at least get themselves in position to kick a field goal. But that's kind of, and I promise you, Shakes, going in, I didn't think that Jordan Love or this offense would struggle the inconsistency, but then I could say that about what, 25 other teams in the league. So it is not everybody's the Rams, where it just looks like Stafford's shooting fish in a barrel. I've never done it before, but it looks friggin' easy. So I'm as fast as two good defenses, but I don't think it was just our defenses are so good you can't move the ball. You saw some missed throws. You saw some runners running into trouble instead of hitting the hole. You saw a lack of push at the line of scrimmage on both teams. You saw missed opportunities, and then you saw penalties, inaccuracy. I mean, everything you had. Good defenses, but it's more inept on offense. It is shocking at this stage of the season that teams can't get lined up and get in a proper formation. And I don't know what the play call was. I know on what was it, 4th and 2.5 6?
Yeah.
Long way to go when you haven't scored 40 points in a game and had your way with the defense. You almost got to get the quarterback on the edge and make it happen. But regardless, it would have been 4th and 7 because of the penalty and the turnover. Had they not turned it over, laying the ball on the ground, it was an ugly watch. Now there's some old school guys that are saying, now that's football the way it's to be played. That ain't what the NFL wants, and I can assure you, it's not what Monday Night Football wanted either.
Right, and those guys that are saying that, they don't want bad football. They don't want bad offensive football. You want a really good defense going against a really good offense and see who wins. And now the league's set up for the offense. We always talk about it. The rules are set up for the offense. The defenders can't touch anybody without getting a flag called, and on the quarterback, on the receivers, anybody. But yet we still have these issues with offense. So where do you look at, Sean, when it comes to this? Is it the lack of physicality in the offseason where the offensive line isn't getting going, so they're letting up pressures, which is making it tougher on the quarterbacks? Is it going all the way back to high school where, we've got this 7-on-7 craze where there is no real physicality in that game at all because the quarterback's just sitting back watching. So he's not learning how to feel a rush or anything besides his games that he's playing in high school. So where do you look at what's the biggest culprit of this offensive struggle right now in the NFL?
We are too into cosmetic at every level and not enough into the soul and hardcore. What's the word I'm looking for? The soul of a football team. We just aren't. So you go watch. I mean, it's rare that you get a team from week 1 to week. Now you're going to have your times when you get beat, you play poorly, but the physicality and the way we do things now. I mean, first off, when you line up in the gun every snap at every level, what are you preaching? I know teams say they want to be physical, that they do, but it's hard to tell 5 guys up front we're a physical team when they're in a 2-point stance the whole damn time. It just is. And you go watching the mechanics of it, and in high school, you see it, Segs, every week.
Yep.
Now, this doesn't matter. I'm not putting a blanket statement over everybody at every level, but we love finesse football because it looks good. And, we got these quarterbacks that are so dynamic with their feet. But the problem is you can be as dynamic with your feet and arm as you want. But the people don't control and dominate the line of scrimmage. Think about last year's Super Bowl winner. Their offensive line controlled and dominated the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
They just did. New England's was able to do that, and they had an outlier, which is a freak at quarterback. So if you have both of those, why? And now take a look at one team in this league, and there's a couple others. Harbaugh wants to do it. What does Sean McVay do for all the fun and bells and whistles he puts on it? They still get under center. They still line up and punch you right in your damn mouth. And they have a quarterback who's a playmaker. They challenge you horizontally and vertically. And Segs, I know this may not have a lasting effect over what we do, but we have taken the ability in a lot of these young quarterbacks to handle themselves at the line of scrimmage, where the center's calling all the protections and directing it, and he's down with his ass in the dirt, and you're standing up, and a lot of times in the gun, and you're not directing the protections. The guy I have a problem with the mental approach to football in a lot of cases. Like I said, when you say this, it's not all or never, but there's this sense of, and then you're never going to be great physically if you can't practice physical. You can't. And so you tell me, how much beating on each other are they doing in training camp? They're not.
Nah.
They're just not. And so by the time it's like, okay, are you going into a boxing match or a fight if you haven't taken a bunch of a UFC fight, if you haven't taken a bunch of kicks to the rib cage to prepare you for it? No, because one shot and you're like, I'm done. It's the same thing there. And so by the time you catch up to the physical side, 4 finesse players are hurt, and you're not. Look at the Packers, bunch of receivers, and they couldn't. They a bunch of guys hurt, and Tampa went through this. If you can't control the line of scrimmage when your perimeter people are banged up, how are you going to win unless everything's perfect? I think that's basically what I'm trying to say. A lot of these teams, if everything doesn't go perfect, quarterback goes haywire, isn't reading. And how many times I see a quarterback or somebody point to a guy that he's coming because he's covered up, and yet his head when the ball snaps looking complete opposite, and he gets the shit kicked out of him in the back, and we wonder what's going on here. To me, it comes down to this. Our quarterbacks are not coached well enough. It's the most undercoached position in football. I'm just telling, and has been for 30 years. It just has been. We expect results, and when we're not getting them, we go back to, well, what's wrong with the mechanics? Well, are you teaching it? And secondly, teams that will, if we have a finesse team that's straight, if the Miami Dolphins win the Super Bowl this year, I'll walk to Miami and raise money for charity. How's that? It's not going to happen.
Right.
Because when it gets right down to it, heavy punches to the face wear on finesse teams. So we're more cosmetic instead of the soul and structure and what you win games on a consistent basis. Find me the things that travel. Disposable luggage rips at the baggage claim. Disposable offensive lines and offenses get their ass kicked against teams. Last night's perfect example. 2 really good defenses, but not to the point where you feel like Mike Singletary's a middle linebacker and Dan Hampton and Steve McMichael are the interior with Fridge and you got Richard Dent. Okay, that's not what L.C. Greenwood and Joe Green didn't play last night. There's some great players, but if you can't you can dole them out, but if you can't punch somebody to the rib cage and to the gut, and you can't handle a punch to the gut, see, finesse is for that lucky knockout shot, Segs. Over the top post, guy makes a play with his feet. But if you get right down to it, and isn't that January football in essence?
Yes.
Smart decisions by your quarterback and grind out wins the unpaved way. It's rare that it's paved the whole way and your defense and offense, everybody's so good. And then you're the Chiefs when Andy Reid had Patrick Mahomes and Steve Spagnuolo, and they were with. Even they have gone through the ability, damn, this guy's hurt. And the only reason that Mahomes isn't undefeated in Super Bowls, Brady had something to do with it, and so did Jalen Hurts. But good quarterback play from the other guy and a defensive front 7 that kicked your offense's ass. Otherwise, Mahomes is undefeated in Super Bowls as well. So to me, it just comes down to we lack soul. The quarterback position is undercoached. That's why there's inconsistencies. And I don't think we give quarterbacks, some guys, enough latitude. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they all do. I think that the coaches want to control things so much that they're not letting these young guys learn how and understand the concept of it's just, I see this, coach told me to do this. How many of them are deep in the heart and soul of preparing a game plan with their staff so everybody knows what they can and can't handle? I've always believed the more you put on a quarterback mentally, the more he'll learn, because these defensive coordinators aren't stupid. If you can't play defensive front 7 and you can't block and win the physical battle, finesse. You'll win some and it'll look pretty, but you'll end up Miami Dolphin in it. You will not win in January. That's just the way it is.
Well, and you just said it. The quarterback position is the most undercoached for a long time, yet it's the most important position in all of sports. If you don't have a good quarterback, you're not winning football games in this current NFL landscape. And it goes back to, we don't let these quarterbacks fail at all, because when they fail, we get rid of them. As fans, as coaches, as media, as everybody, someone,
or we coddle them and don't put it on them, or we coddle them,
or we coddle them. Yes, and that's where we look at. We're going to talk about Caleb Williams here in just a second. I mean, he was in a really shitty situation with Shane Waldron, Matt Eberflus, telling him not to turn the football over. They coached everything out of him that he made him so good at Oklahoma and USC. And then he struggles a little bit early this season with Ben Johnson, who has turned Jared Goff into one of the best quarterbacks in football. And yet we just want to tear Caleb down and say, oh, he's not it. Let him fail in this system that has shown to be really good. And then when he comes out of it, yeah, if it's 2 years in and he still sucks, okay, I get it. But when we're 40 snaps in and we already have people saying, this isn't the guy. This isn't the guy. It's just, that's the crazy part of this whole undercoach quarterback thing, is everybody wants to get rid of these guys so fast. And then it's like, okay, who's the next guy? Here comes Mendoza. Oh, he struggles. Okay, who's the next guy? Here comes Arch Manning. Oh, he struggles. Next guy. And that's just the cycle that it seems like everybody's on in the NFL, in the football world.
And then they want to know why their quarterback doesn't progress. They want to know, well, why is he making strides? Well, Daniel Jones finally got somebody coaching him up. Now look at the result. And you got to have good players. Make no mistake.
Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield.
There's no doubt. Yeah, all the time. And listen, Segs, and we're all wrong at times. But I've seen too much of Sam Darnold, even when he was struggling, to know that arm talent and his competitiveness was too good not to have some success in this league. The Jets seem to fuck everything up with their quarterbacks. We push them aside. And then you go, and then all of a sudden you get this, now you're pigeonholed and you're labeled. He's a bust. And if Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold would have bought into what everybody was saying about them, they would not be having the success they're having now. And then they get with a guy who digs deep. Think about this, a couple quick things. So I remember years ago, I went to the Phoenix Open, the waste management, and Tom Lehman, who's been a Ryder Cup captain, is a hell of a player, right? Not the number one player in the world, but always good. Kind of like Matt Kuchar, right? Mm-hmm. Constantly in the money and great guy. So I'm standing outside the ropes. And Tom Lehman's a Minnesota guy. And Tom and his Candy Andy Martinez time, and he was working with Jim Flick, Nicholas's old golf teacher, right? Yeah. And he says, Sean, come on over. Takes me inside the rope. So I'm standing there at the range watching these guys beat balls, right? And Lehman's hitting. Flick is standing right next to him, and so is his caddy. He's hitting 5 irons to him. Well, nowadays they're hitting 5 irons, 246. Well, yeah. He's about 210, 215. And he's hitting this little lazy soft draw, right? That's bouncing out there at the same flag stick, 200, 205, 202 yards away. And he's tinkering every time. And I'm thinking, he looks like Iron Byron to me. Everything, the swing's the same. Oh, adjust the hands a little bit. And I'm talking about, he's talking football to me while he's still tinkering and adjusting. This is a dude who's a top 100 player, maybe at that time a top 50 player, on the money list, doing all that, getting paid, tinkering every time. Coach there doing it. Watch Scotty Scheffler or Tiger Woods. And I use golf a lot because with the quarterback mechanics and the soul of a quarterback, those things. Dude, the guy goes out and wins majors, and the next day on the range, or that afternoon, after shooting 66, right, the guy goes out and is going to hit balls for 30 more minutes. Why? Because he hit it to 17 feet instead of 10 feet. Right. And at quarterback play, off season, you take care of the mechanics with your private trainer or whoever you're working with. Then when you come in, we'll talk about it a little bit. But man, we got game plans. We got a season coming up. Yeah. And then your mechanics start to suffer because you get into bad habits. And then all of a sudden, you're 3 weeks in, and now we can't work on the mechanics because once the season starts, dude, you ain't got time. And there's not, go take a golf lesson and then go play golf right after it. Dude, your shit will be all over the friggin' place because your mind is cluttered. And the same thing we get with the quarterback. Now, it's the guy who can tune it out. Imagine when Matt Stafford was in Detroit, if some asshole would have said, I'm changing your throwing motion after all your success. And I'm telling you, Segs, I see it at the high school level with some of these, Santa Claus carrying bag gimmick guys, teaching guys. There's some really good ones. I see it in college. I see it all the time at every level, to where you're not teaching them functional football stuff. And I need to know on a Friday night, are you standing on a tire or are you playing on flat ground and going playing football, or a Saturday or a Sunday? And then when you don't have success, guess what we're doing? It's week 7. Got to replace him, bench him. But you're bitching about the mechanics that you're not working on.
Right.
So, and I played, and I was for North Turner was really good at the mechanics side. We grinded on it when I was in school at SC. But I can tell you this, and it's not their fault. It's just it goes on. At no time in the offseason in my 10-year NFL career, with some friggin' great coaches, have I ever had a mechanical lesson with a coach. Never. And when you get to training camp, you miss the ball high. They're, and I've had, it's not there. Like I said, they're moving on with their game plan. It's just that we just assume because you're in the NFL, you know how to do it. Well, Tiger Woods is still taking friggin' lessons. Why aren't we? Yeah. And I'm not saying during the season to clutter your mind, but you got to get to a point with repetition, like you would preparing a speech. You've given your speech on a book tour or anything, that repetition every day gets to the point where when I drop back to pass, I'm at the line of scrimmage, I'm no longer thinking. I've thought 6 days a week. I'm now reacting. Of course you're thinking, but you've seen it enough that now I can focus on the visual of what the defense is doing. My mechanic's going to be there, short of when you got a playoff schedule. But you get to a point, and they're, hey, get the ball down. Well, no fucking kidding. Get the ball down? Well, why? Right. See, we don't answer the question enough of why. Yeah. Why? We answer the question of you got to fix it. And if you don't, then we're going to move on to the next thing. I want to know why. Well, why'd you miss your outcut by 8 yards over the guys?
Fly open? Did you stay close?
Right.
Your footwork's off. Just say something.
Did you overstride? Is your arm out of slot? We got to get those. And it is important to do that in the offseason. But if you're not coaching it, then how can you expect it to be successful? And a lot of these guys, they are so good and talented off schedule. Saying, I work with guys. Do you realize I watch and I observe this? That we spend more time now training guys off schedule than on schedule. And I'm just telling you right now, if you can't make the boring play, the play you're supposed to make all the time, you cannot last at that position in this league.
Yeah.
At any position. Hence why Jerry Rice and I had a teammate, Steve Large and Chris Carter. They were catching balls on the jugs machine all the time, even after 1,000 catches. And guess what? On Sunday, balls around it, they finish. And the guys who aren't going to the Hall of Fame, kind of lagging around, doing a little bit, not a lot. There's no mistake for it. So all this stuff we're talking about comes together. And then at the end of the season, you're like, man, boy, mechanics, you got to get on them. Well, yeah, now a year later. Now, Caleb Williams, we're going to get to a lot of mechanics things he needs to fix, but he's getting better. And part of that is if you know pre-snap mentally, and this isn't just the physical, I'm talking about the mechanics mentally of what you're looking at. He's got a coach now that gets it. If you don't know what you're looking at, sakes, how can I play boring football? And I like boring football. Then you have the ability to go make extra plays like Caleb or like Josh Allen or Lamar or Mahomes. But you still have to make the boring, everyday Drew Brees, Tom Brady play. I say it all the time, but we don't have enough guys doing it. You can't miss a flat route on 3rd and 2 and yank it into the ground if you want to be a starter consistently. Those of us who miss them sometimes get it, but you just can't. And we have too many guys. How do you not execute a screenplay at the end of a game? How do you in the biggest moments? So it just tells you that we got a lot of cosmetic shit going on. We don't have a lot of soul when it comes to the field. And I'm not talking about the soul into making sure you understand the music and you're moving with the music. I'm talking about the soul deep down. It's me versus you, fist fight on a regular basis. And as a quarterback, it's me making all the stuff that you do when you're supposed to make when you're playing against air.
Right.
A guy's in the flat or a check down. If you don't know why you're throwing it to the check down, how do you have a chance to succeed 65 plays a game? And we don't got enough of it. And you will continue to see spectacular and bad play. It's living in the middle that sometimes we don't do enough. Just dude, make me a simple. Look what Drake May's doing. Make the big one when it's there. Dude, he's making simple plays. And Caleb Williams, with all the shit he takes, and at times rightfully so, he's finding ways to get it done, and he's playing better football.
Yep. And so you mentioned Caleb Williams, and we got some plays here we're going to run through that just his pocket awareness. Last year, he took, I think might have been over 60 sacks last year, and a lot of it was him trying to make a play but not getting out of it. Now it feels like he's feeling the rush and making the play to get out of it earlier, which allows him to make plays. So, we'll start with this first play. He rolls out to his right. This is 4th and 10. So,
and now here you have to make a play. This is freeze it right there for 1 second so I can tee this up, and we'll go through a handful of these. One is guys like him make a lot of hero plays, but they also force hero plays. Now it's 4th and 10. You've got to make a play. You can't take a sack. You can't get a 9-yard gain. We need something to happen. And it's one thing that at times you got to bail early, but there's also times as he continues to go along that you can slide and reset and hit number 2 and number 3, which is the essence of great quarterback play. All of us can hit the first guy if we're moving our feet, and that way we know it's the second and third guy that challenge a quarterback's patience, because defenses will tell you at every level, you don't have the patience to check the ball down for 10 plays in a row, to take the stuff that we're allowing you to take. Eventually, you're going to get tired of it, and you're going to try to make a hero play. When you're that talented, when I get quarterbacks that are talented, and obviously not Caleb Williams' talent, but like that dominate, right, Segs, that have all the ability. You know what I teach them? Or have a big arm? Play like you got a pop gun arm and you can't run.
Yeah.
Play like that. The natural reaction of an athlete, if you got power, you can drive the ball 450. You don't need to swing 450. You're a great driver of the golf ball. Same thing here. Your natural instincts of a great playmaker will kick in when competitive. But it's the other stuff that I need. So I train guys that are overly gifted to play like a guy who's not, at least in your way you pocket. And you mentioned it. It's not pocket, presence and awareness. It is the ability to know when to bail, when to sidestep, when to keep your head up, not watch the rush. And that's part of that's experience. But also, if you understand fronts and coverages, you understand where pressure may be coming from. And we don't put enough of that on quarterbacks. So it just, I try to train. If I was coaching Caleb Williams, and listen, Ben Johnson's doing a fine job, I would coach him to say, dude, you run the 40 in 5.3, and your arm is a guy who the physical skills are about a 6, which we know are not true. But if he gets in that mindset, what's he do then, Segs? On time throw. Know more about what's going on in the secondary and fronts and coverage, where my hot reads are. And then you're all of a sudden saying, okay, I got to overachieve, right? And so the hero play is the simple slant route thrown into the first window on time. But then there's this, and you can run this one real quick, guys. Freeze it. Freeze. Okay, right there. Look at his vision, Segs. He started with his head to the left. He's got blocked. Got a guy pushing him back into the pocket. Now, you could slide and re-step to take a quick slide. But as you see the left, the defensive left end is trying to push up the field, yet he can break that contain. So he feels it. Okay, it's getting cluttered. Over here to the left, my vision is skewed. I can't even step into this throw. So what's the next? Especially on 4th and 10, I got to find vision. And so as we continue to play, he does. Now, this is just stuff you can't teach, Segs. Freeze it one more time. Freeze. Now, guy's head toward the sideline. He knows he can't run for the first down. He's got one throw to make, and it's 4th and 10. Now, this is where, dude, there's about 8 to 10 plays a game. I can't coach shit for you. You just got to go be a football player. And sometimes it's thrown away, not on 4th and 10, unless it was 4th and 10, Segs, and you're up 7, and you're going to throw it away because you know your defense is going to get a stop. On 4th and 10, you need a play, go make a play. But there's 8 or 10 of them you just say, dude, you just got to, sometimes throwing it in the stands is the best play, or punting. But they go for it. Obvious when they're going for it on 4th and 10, they needed this play. So as we finish it out, watch where the ball placement is. This is just freaky shit. Freeze. You can't, that throw, you think we're teaching that? But anybody says, yeah, that's what I teach. Your ass. You may have coached him off schedule in an off-season practice. You ain't teaching that. Because you know what? You can't teach that. It's just the guy's innate ability to make a play. All right.
And so this throw, he actually throws it's a little out of bounds. I mean, an incredible throw. But now the second play is very.
But what else is he throwing that, Segs?
Right. No, exactly. No, right.
That was
if you can
play off schedule.
Yes.
Right.
So now we see this next throw where on the next play, it's very similar. This is the next drive, I think it's the next drive.
Right now, it looks like a 4-man rush too, right, Segs?
Yes.
Right now, if you're the quarterback, initially, I can't see all 22 here on the outside of these edge rushers, but doesn't it look zone? It looks like a simple 4-man rush. So you should know going in that you expect to be protected, even if you're getting a scat protection, if the backs are coming out with a free release. I got, as it looks here, 5-on-4, unless somebody blitzes, which I don't know right now, but pre-snap tells me it's my 5 versus your 4. I better have protection. That's in your mind. But you also know that there's a capability of getting beat. So go ahead and run it. Freeze it at the top before we do anything, after the ball snap. Okay, keep going. Freeze. Okay, now the one thing I love about this, Segs, and I want you to give me what your thought. See it still. Count the rushers. How many rushers? 4?
4.
That's 4 men at the line of scrimmage. I got 5 to block 4. This protection, as we see it here from this end zone, is sewn up. Now, his head started right. He started left. That's where the ball snapped. What I do love about the progression of him is that the Caleb Williams at SC or early is already bailing. He's after the first move, he's gone.
Yeah.
So his head tells me he knows at least where he wants to go. With the first one wasn't there. He had a sidestep. Now let's go forward. Let's see what he does next. Freeze. Now hangs in. Now there you go. Very similar play. Eventually, Segs, we get about 2.5 to 2.7 seconds. That built-in time clock's got to go off. Now you're forcing him to his strength, which is to his right.
And
So
let's remember, this
forward.
is Kayvon Thibodeau and Abdul Carter.
Really good
chasing
front
him.
4. Yes.
So now go ahead, Triple E. He makes basically the same throw, a little shorter, and now this time he puts it in the breadbasket as Zacchaeus, who just drops it. And the Bears had, I think, 7 or 8 drops.
How's that his fault?
Right.
How is that his fault? You got to make that play. He did.
But this is the progression of what I'm talking about, where he doesn't just take off up the middle.
No, and he would have 2 years ago.
Plays to develop. Hell, he would have taken off last year. Yeah.
Yeah, so, last year and at SC when he was done here. See, go back again one more time. And I know the emphasis, this is when I start to know when a guy knows where his people are, that he's starting to get it. He's still got a long way to go. He's not overly mechanically sound. You know, he's doing stuff, but you know what? We're in the season. Just goes back to my point. The mechanics of dropping the ball or when you run protected. Now go back again. I want you to watch his head at first. He knows it's a 4-man rush, but he knows it's a formidable 4-man freeze. Right. Head to the right. Doesn't like whatever he's seeing to the right. Now, instead of bailing right now, last year's Caleb Williams would have. Now watch. Push it forward. Freeze. Freeze. Still there.
All the way to the left now.
And he hasn't hitched into trouble. When we say hitch, when it's take 4 and reset, a lot of guys think you got to hitch way up into the pocket. No, that's called climbing the pocket. This is, you can hitch in place because we work so hard to get depth. Why am I going to hitch back into trouble? So great job. Look at the temptation, Segs. The old Caleb Williams would have just darted right up the middle and treated it like a quarterback draw. And his head goes right, scans through all the way, looks like he's staring at the outside comeback or whatever's going on over there. And then now he starts to realize the collapse is on, the built-in time clock. What do I do with it? Do I force a ball to the left? Do I run into trouble? Nope. Get your head back up on the coverage, not the rush, and then watch him escape. This is the next evolution to his game. Smart, protect it, make this throw, has him, can't catch it, the guy lays it on the ground.
Got to be a touchdown. But, okay, now this next play is where I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Caleb Williams, because it's honestly a very similar play in terms of where he rolls, and you've talked about hero ball. So go ahead and run the play, and then Sean react to it after.
Okay, first off, what does this look like to you? When you start to look at it, go back, pre-snap again. Now, that is, you're getting a 5-man rush here, right?
Getting 5
more than likely, unless the right edge is going to drop into coverage, you're getting a 5-man rush. So now, and what a horrible job by the right tackle. A guy who can't move you've got to block somebody. I know it's tough, but that's your job. So go back, and I think it's the right tackle who whiffs on this, if I'm not mistaken. But watch Caleb Williams, play action, freeze. Yeah. Okay, so now you've come out of You've come out of play action, and you've turned your back line screen. Now you're resetting to try and throw a comeback or an over or a flat route, a curl route to the left. But I think the old Caleb Williams head would have went right to Thibodeau. Stare at the rush, but he's still feeling it. This is regardless of what the offensive line, look at it. Now you're yelling, look out is the right tackle. Look out, some bitch. I missed him. He's coming to kick your ass. Okay, so what's next? Do you wait for the check down coming through to check down after the play action? Let's see what he does next with his progression and his eyes. Freeze. That's just, now you tell me you're teaching that?
No, that's
just instinction. That's instinctive, instinctual football, right? And look what he does. Go back a little bit on this. This is what I love about this. He understands the angle of Thibodeau. Look at a little jab step and watch him completely reverse out. And what he does is he makes Thibodeau take a flat angle so he can break contain. And I know, folks, you're looking at this. These are three different plays that look similar with the way he's doing it. Little pump.
My favorite part's the end of the play, though. So you can watch it through.
And real quick, freeze it right now. Freeze it right here. For me, Segs, I don't know. I can't see down in distance. For me right now, I don't know the back end, what's going on with the back end. For me right now,
10.
Right. Oh, you don't. Oh, perfect. If it's 1st and 10, you know where this ball should go right now. And I haven't seen this part of this cut yet. This tape, this cut up. Take a look. See the guy standing on the 49-yard line?
Yeah, that's DeAndre
on 1st and 10. On 1st and 10, that's exactly right. Back after the play action, right? He came out and ran what we call, it's like a little setup. You can run left, run right, or sit down depending on the coverage or who's got you.
An option route.
This ball, if I was coaching Caleb Williams and we were day after the game, I'd say, because I don't know, does it go to him? Maybe it goes so, because I can't see the back end of this if there's a wide open comeback. But on 1st and 10, Segs, we got 4 more downs. We're in their territory with this completion. I would throw it to the back right now. Right friggin' now.
Go ahead and run
catch. Now go forward. And he does.
And that's the difference. Like, you pick up 4 or 5 yards. And like we've seen on the previous 2 plays, he knows he can make these throws down the field. And that's what he was doing a lot last year, even though it would either be a big time throw, a try, or he's just throwing it out of bounds and he wasn't taking those little check downs. Now he's taking those time and time again and living to fight another day, taking 4 to 5 yards.
Go back to that play before we get to the next one real quick. I just want to see if we can. True. Watch the freeze. Okay, now he starts to feel it. He understands what's going on with this rush. But so this got every element, what we talked about before we started running the tape. One, the 8 or 10 plays, dude, you're just spectacular. There ain't no coach saying, yeah, I coached him to do that. Your ass. Nobody puts their foot. That's an Allen Iverson crossover on your ass. Right. You don't teach that. That's in the DNA. That's a dude who's just as big. Freeze. There. Now, hero ball says, I'm going to run it. I'm going to take a shot down the field. But smart football goes to the other thing I say is make me the simple play. Understand the game. It's 1st and 10, dude. If we get 5 yards on 1st down, I'm kicking your ass on. That's why everybody talks about 3rd down. 4th and 10. How many plays do you think I got in my playbook calling plays? I didn't got many of them. 4th and 10 against defense. But I can tell you what I do have. 2nd and 4. 2nd and 5. Now I get to dictate as the coordinator in the play call. This is a guy maturing to say, I get that guy. Now, if all of a sudden that guy jumps him and is out in front of him and going to undercut a pick, then you look at the next level or you throw it out of bounds. Remember, if he doesn't get this guy and there's nobody, throw the ball out of bounds or run to the side. Don't take a loss because we need one more completion in field goal range. It's 1st down. We got plenty more to play with. Throw the damn thing to him. Get me a positive play. This is the boring. Now, getting to this right here, Segs, was not boring and simple.
Right.
I ain't making this move on the guy like he is. But this is the simple. Now, what I don't like, Segs, see how he's holding the ball with one hand and pumping?
Yeah.
I would prefer him because guess what happens? Freeze it again after he goes. Freeze. He's holding it down here. How many times have you seen a guy? These guys are fast, these edge rushers. They grab and strip sack. So I would prefer him to hold the ball. Yes, he does. And it gets him in trouble at times. But at least he understands as a field, get it to the guy, your running back Swift, and let him go make a play. So there you go. That's the next step in his maturity at that position of seeing what's going on in front of him and understanding the game situation.
And then if you go to the next play, this is more just where you're talking about playing in rhythm, Sean, and just making a throw that is awesome. So we see from behind, you got 2 tight ends, which is a lot for the Bears. And
he's under center, which I like. Yep. It adds a little physical. Freeze. Okay, you tell me, is this a clean pocket for a quarterback? Now,
yes.
73, you're staring right at him. I hope you're about to go thump that guy right there and put your left paw in his friggin' chest and go chase him down and go get him. But right now, listen, if you can't complete balls from this, what's the down and distance, Segs, in this?
1st and 10.
1st and 10. Okay, just from this video, not knowing what's going on because I see one defensive player's legs in the video.
Yeah.
On the other side, on the defensive
45.
side of the line. on the defensive side of the line of scrimmage. Okay, on 1st and 10, if you didn't say anything else, you didn't know what the rest of the play is, what would you say for him to do right now?
Hit Cole Kmet,
right now,
the tight end.
Right, dude, he's going to turn and get me 5 more.
Right.
There's nobody in the picture. He's got 10 yards, 15 yards of space. 10 yards if you're talking about the guy on the right hash mark, sitting at about the 45. So right now, if I was coaching, I don't know what the result is. It may be a huge play. Right now, just from this visual before we push it forward, see all 22. The next level is, dude, put your foot in the ground, hit your tight end, let's go get 9 and make it 2nd and 1. Or let's go get a first down. Let's see what he does. Clean pocket, no excuse there. Now, he took the harder route, though, Segs. Go back a little bit, not all the way back. Keep pushing. Go ahead. 73. Let's go a little further. Keep going. And it's freeze. Okay. Now, once again, this is a phenomenal throw.
There's not many quarterbacks that are making that throw.
This is just
over
that
linebacker.
This is a 20-yard dig rip shot, the deep in cut that is just spectacular. Now, if that defensive back or if that linebacker, defensive back, whoever that is, or nickel, whoever it is at the 49-yard line, Segs, 3 yards towards the dig route, that ball's batted down. You can't make that throw unless you do this, and then guess what? You get the shit kicked out of you by the safety. So as we go forward, freeze it again, freeze. Now you tell me, in open space, if I get that ball that tight in one move, he may end up getting to the 40 of the other side, right? Listen, show me a quarterback without balls, and I'm going to show you guys not going to have success over the course of his career. But here, that's the one the coach says, no. Oh, great throw.
Now, are you telling him to read that linebacker, that if he is up,
of course,
up in the 45 and maybe coming towards, and then you can hit that,
You're high. This is a simple go back, right? Just slowly go back. I'll show you where I want it, where the ball, a little more, right there. Okay, now, Segs, just look at the body language and where this throw is now that we've seen the end of it. Perfect pocket. He doesn't bail out of the pocket. I'm okay with everything that's going on. He sees he's got a good, clean pocket. That's shooting fish in a barrel. Like I said, never done it, but it seems easy. Is that I'm coaching him to read the coverage. So if this is a high-low on the guy standing at the C right there, if that's the read, because whose job is it to take care of the corner? It's the receiver's job. It's your job to manipulate the rest of the coverage in zone and man to run away and make the accurate throw to grasp it. He's got to sit down right there by the tight end. So if I'm saying to him right now, I don't know the result of the throw, I would have said when he put back, just stick your foot in the ground and get to this guy right now. Make the guy come up and make a tackle in space. Yeah. I would love that. He just made it tougher on himself. Now, I'm not bitching about the throw, but in truth, this could get him into trouble if that guy's Derek Brooks or if that guy's Fred Warner, right? Or whoever that might be. He just made it tougher. Now, we're watching and saying, look at this shit, dude. Yeah. You're going into the film room saying, this guy's spectacular. But the thing that makes you a little nervous is, dude, you didn't have to be a hero. We'd have got 15 yards if you just drop it down to Kmet and let him go get you some space. So dangerous, spectacular, but in truth, the boring play was much easier, right? It's like right there, just drop it to him. He's in your vision. So you high-low him, but I'm not going to argue about a completion.
This is where you hope that Caleb is reading that linebacker and saying, okay, he's pushing forward. I know I can get the ball over him to Rome, Odunze. And instead, you hope that if he sees that linebacker dropping back down the field, then he hits Kmet for 10-plus yards.
Come back a little bit, Triple E, about just a quick. Go ahead. I'll tell you where to go forward. Go forward. Let the play run a little bit. There you go. We're slowing it down. Freeze. All right, Segs, you see the safety driving on it, the guy chasing him, and what a great route to create space. That space he has with the guy behind, I mean, it's sitting on the hash mark at the top of the C. That right there, that's as much space as if you get more space than that in an NFL, then you ought to thank the good Lord above that you're throwing the windows that big. But 3 players are driving. Look at the triangle of players around it.
Yeah.
What's the easier play? Right. I don't want to say, but here's the problem. Some would try to coach this out of him. I'm not going to coach it out of him. I'm just trying to coach him into smart decisions. So he gets away with it, which is spectacular. But in truth, Brady, or Breeze, where he'd have thrown it, Segs? More than likely. When he put his foot in the ground, he would have gotten the check down. And then you know what? That guy's tired of coming up making a tackle. We'll replay. We'll call this play again. And then that guy there at the bottom of the C will jump, Kmet, and then we'll have a bigger window. But who's complaining
you.
about success? So,
Yeah. All right, this next play is just Caleb being ridiculous. Now it's third and four. Third and 4. And just look what he does here in terms of escaping. Just run the play, Tripoli, all the way through. Now, how do you get out of, I think it was Brian Burns first, and then it was Abdul Carter. Both get shots on him, and he just runs through and picks up the first down.
Okay, let's go from the top.
Yeah, that's the type of play that you just can't teach.
Well, that's one of those 8 or 10 I'm talking about. Okay, get a 4-man rush, right? Yep. Now, motion, boom, freeze. Okay, now, Segs, I'm trying to think. You tell me where he's got his, obviously to the left, this is a play they're trying to get a little flood route here. Got an outcut guy, whether it's that going to end up being an inside like big box fade or whatever, or if it's like a sail route from the guy at the 40-yard line, at the top of the 4 down here. But he wants to look at the check down. You can't get that check down. They got guys, see a little crossing, the tight end and the back are crossing. There's really no open window because he hasn't got his head backside. Everything's telling him to come left, however coach taught him to read it. So people say, well, why don't you throw it to the guy right in front of the referee, the tight end at the 33-yard line running to the top of the screen? Well, his head's not there. It's easy after the play for us to say, hey, man, flip your hips and have him sit down before he runs in. And see, that's another thing to this route. If I'm the tight end on that, Segs, you know what I'm doing right now, and he may end up doing it, is I'm turning and I am sitting between the referee and the guy. I'm not running to be covered into a headache. That's a roll corner. You sit down and give him a window to pop you with a 5 or 6 yard. But his head's not there yet because, well, pass rush is forcing him and he's looking left. This out cut down here, covered. You can't make the throw to a retreating corner or whoever that is, or the safety. Or it looks like a retreating corner because that looks like a nickel that's on the guy running the out route at the 35. So you can't throw that ball. So now you got to become a football player. And he's doing what most guys can't. Now you can let the play run. So his head's here. Now you got to have some physical strength to step through this. Guys in your grasp. He doesn't quit on the play or fall down. Go ahead and run it. And then he's going to step through. Go ahead and forward the. There you go. Just a great job of awareness. Now, now everybody somebody go to him, give him a window, but he makes a positive play out of what should have been a sack. And the sack was not on him. He took 1 hitch, 2 hitch. Bam, they're on him, and they push the pocket back. And then he just makes a great physical play. Great awareness, but that's just great physical escapability that a lot of guys don't have.
Right. And then this last play. Let's just run one more. This just the very next play, Tripoli. It's the very next play. This play, he's empty. So, and you see 3 is up at the line, and then it looks like a linebacker comes or nickel, whoever that is.
They're going to end up rushing 4, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So go ahead and run it more.
It should be blocked up, right?
Yes.
And you got to go. Well, that's what that is. Segs. Go back from the beginning. It's a 3-man rush with the spy.
Yeah.
The guy you see.
Yes, I see him. He doesn't go.
He's spying Caleb Williams, kind of laying down in the weeds. You see, he's trying to get out of his vision. He's ducking down so he can hide behind the line. He's just spying. Stay down, stay low. He wants to be there in case Caleb Williams breaks the pocket, which he does. Now, that spin move got him chasing again. The guy. This is just squaring up, and it's just friggin' stupid.
Rolling 23 yards, going to your left, just spinning and throwing.
And you know, we tell guys doing this, Segs, because normally you realize the reason you're being forced out, somebody's going to chase, right? And a lot of times if you freeze, you pull up. See how he pulled up, Segs?
Yep.
They'll chase you down and hit you in the mouth. Once you break that, we're telling you, stay on the run, dude. But he couldn't. And he couldn't get his shoulder square. So what do? He squares up and risks taking a shot to the mouth. And then he eventually does square him up, but he's still fading towards the sideline and is able to make an off-schedule, stupid throw. Look at there's 4 dudes in the window.
Yeah.
Look where the ball ends up. He's got one place to throw it. And guess where he throws it? Exactly where he should.
Well, and
there's
that's
4 guys. They got him surrounded. That's a dangerous but smart play.
Loveland's route is taking him to the bottom. He sees his quarterback scramble. He just goes parallel with him and goes to open space. So
where else are you throwing the ball? There's nowhere else to throw it.
Nowhere.
You either throw it out of bounds or you take it off and sprint to the sideline. You got nowhere else to go with the ball. So one thing I don't have to worry about is Caleb Williams' ability to make crazy stuff happen.
Yes.
The next level for him is for us to come out of games saying, man, he played board today and he was 18 of 20 for 222 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no picks.
Yeah.
That's the next level of greatness for him. The stuff you can't coach, he's got. The stuff you can coach, he just needs to elevate a little bit. He's getting better. You can't be 6-3 with shitty quarterback play.
Right.
He's had his moments. He's got to be more consistent, especially early and come out smoking, right, Sigs? But he hung in there this past weekend in a game when he didn't play his best, found a way to get it done. That matters to me, and it should matter to them, and it should matter to anybody evaluating him.
Just some fun stuff to watch and see how you break it down compared to how I break it down and what we're seeing. All right, let's move on to our last topic.
It's rare we ask a guy, just go be boring, man, because the good stuff will take care of itself. Just go be boring. But the greatest ones, Warren, the best I've ever played with, you know what they were, Sigs? Spectacular and gold jackets, but the best I've ever played with, they just do the boring stuff better than everybody else. They just do. And look at the great shooters. Steph Curry's not missing wide open jump mid-range or long range. He's not missing free throws. Stuff that just the boring stuff. You get a layup at the rim, you can't miss it. Finish. You know what I mean? And the great ones, Bird, Jordan, as spectacular as Jordan was, you know what he did better than anybody on the planet, Sigs? Aside from show up and cut your heart out and feed it to you on a platter and his competitiveness, he made the shots he was supposed to. Little kiss off from great mid-range jump shooter and using the glass. And, you know, he did. That was him. That was him. And when we look at it, I could give you 5 of the most boring players in the world in baseball and basketball. You know what they do? Make contact in baseball, throw strikes in baseball, make free throws, and make open shots. The stuff you have to make. The spectacular shit comes. It's the if you can't make the boring stuff, you can't last in this league, in any league for that matter.
Moving over to college football, we got I don't know what the hell's going on in Baton Rouge. We had the Brian Kelly firing weeks ago. Right. Now they're in a legal battle over his buyout money, his $54 million. LSU offered him 25 reportedly, then they offered him 30. He turned them both down, saying, no, I want my 54. I had a contract that says I get $54 million if you guys fire me. Well, now they're trying to say, well, we didn't fire you then. Now we're firing you for cause. And now it's just become a legal battle. I don't know what LSU and their board of trustees or whoever the hell's all involved in this are thinking, but it's basically you're trying to save money, but also screw over the guy that you fired in terms of his buyout.
And the guy you hired. The dude
the guy you hired, then fired and had a contract with that said you get $54 million if fired. Now you're trying to say, oh, well, no, this is why we're actually firing. And no, it's bullshit.
Segs, from our vantage point, listen, Brian Kelly is not a lot of people's favorite guy. He's abrasive, and you could see had some prick to him when it came to, and that's okay when you're winning. When you're winning, it's okay, because a lot of them are a pain in the ass to deal with, but that's when you're winning. But when you have, when you're not, and you're that way, now we go get him. The bottom line is take the personality out of it. He signed a contract. They fired him. And if you try to go cause or he did something wrong, well, that was never, if he did something wrong that broke the rules and said, hey, listen, you did this and we told you not to do it, you cheated, whatever those things are. But that was never the case unless something comes out we don't know about. The bottom line is he's got $50+ million on his contract. You fired him. He didn't resign from the job. If I'm Brian Kelly, whether you like him or not, just go with the straight business aspect. I'm making you pay down to the last dollar. Well, why didn't you settle for 30? Why would I settle for 30 million? You're firing me. I'm not going to let you fire me and then let you keep 25 extra million bucks because I'm a good guy. Fuck, you're a good guy. You weren't a good guy to me because you wouldn't give me an extra year. Screw this. And I you know me, Sigs, I got an affinity for LSU. I like it. But in this case, hell, I like LSU better than I do Brian Kelly. But in this case, if I'm Brian Kelly, no. I'm not settling. You fired me. You want to give me 30 and then pay the other 23 or 25 up front in a bonus? Cool. But I am getting that money now, and I'm getting it immediately because guess what? That's my money. You don't get to hold on to it. And they fired him for bad results, and they thought that they needed a different fit. Great. If every coach that gets fired is getting fired for bad results but isn't getting paid, then you signed a contract. So if I'm Brian Kelly, I'm not leaving until every ounce of that money. And if they're going to try to play some bullshit that's not true, then you take them to the brink, dude. Whether it's LSU or anybody else, I'd be saying it about my own alma mater at SC. If they were doing Lincoln Riley, said, no, we're trying to settle. Settle for what? You fired him. They haven't fired me. You get my point. So it has nothing to do with who's involved. It has something to do with the legality of a contract. This is my money. You fired me, and I have my name on a contract. I'm getting every dime. And if I'm Brian Kelly, whether you like the way he coaches or not, the business side of it is LSU hired him. They've made some mistakes along the way in some of their hirings, as other schools have too. And you went in big. You took the risk. And now the reward is Brian Kelly still gets paid every dime. And that's an LSU problem. Sorry, if I'm Brian Kelly, I'd go after every ounce of it too. You don't need to be their buddy. They fired you. And I understand why they did, but I wouldn't give them 1 ounce of leeway. Any school, when you fire me, cause what? Cause D's? You fired me because I wasn't. Right. We didn't win, and so it's time to move on. And he deserves every ounce of his money as long as there's not something we don't know about that broke the contract. Yeah, but I haven't seen that anywhere.
Yeah, pay that man his money. We had some breaking NBA news this morning. Mavs GM Nico Harrison fired. He's the one that made the Luka trade out of nowhere. And, you can look at different people and say, oh, well, this is what actually happened behind the scenes with the owner and all this stuff. But
we weren't there. So a lot of it's
we weren't there. He traded Luka Doncic to the Lakers for Anthony Davis, who's always hurt. And now the Mavs are looking to trade Anthony Davis because he's not what he once was. And on top of it, you luck into Cooper Flagg, and yet you still come out and you've got.
They're 3-8.
I know they're 3-8. Cooper Flagg, they have him playing point guard a lot, which is not a GM specific problem. That's a coaching problem too. But this guy hired to. It's a disaster in Dallas right now. Things have gone downhill quick since Mark Cuban basically, sold his rights and moved on, and it isn't really running the team anymore. It's a disaster in Dallas with the Mavericks right now.
Let me tell you, the second he traded Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis, he should have gone on to Crypto Arena with Luka.
Yes,
because they should have run him out of the building. I don't like to get people fired, but you can't make those decisions, especially for that guy. For that guy who is giving you about 45 games. Now you may get 45 damn good games from him, but you're only getting half the season. It's like if you're trying to trade for Joel Embiid, you're not getting what you need to get out of him, no matter how talented they are. Part of being talented is showing up and being able to play. So it was a mistake. And Segs being here in Houston, the one thing, even though it's in Dallas, 4 hours away, the people here were like, it was more talked about than anything going on locally because what are you doing? And then, all the stuff at the front office and Cuban selling, all the things that went on. But they traded a guy that was beloved in Dallas. I don't care if you thought he was doughy or not. He falls out of bed and scores 30. And you went and got a guy who falls out of bed and misses 17 weeks a year. Okay, so the bottom line is it was a mistake I think he was overwhelmed and in over his head from the start. That's my opinion. And sometimes just because you got a GM label doesn't make you a GM. Does that make sense, Segs? Yeah. And just because you get paid doesn't make you a high achieving pro. Okay, we see guys, just because I get paid a contract doesn't mean I'm a pro. I could be, I'm a pro by the verbiage, but I'm not a pro by the way I do my business. And he wasn't very good at it. And he may land another gig, but you just can't do that and survive. And then if you're going to do that, you better come out, Davis better play, and you better be 9-2 to start your season, or 10-2. You better come out. And to my knowledge, Cooper Flagg's a wing, in my opinion. He's not a point guard, although he could play it. That's if somebody's out and you need him to handle the ball like they did KD at times at Golden State when Steph's sitting on the bench. I get it. But I think he's overwhelmed from the beginning. Sometimes we talk about that. This was the cosmetic part of maybe he doesn't understand the deep parts of being a GM. It felt like a social media move. Yet social media hated it if you're a Mavs fan. Does that make sense, Segs? It felt like let's just do something to do something. And you did the wrong thing. You traded for the wrong guy, and then you gave away the wrong guy in a town that, quite frankly, loves himself some Luka. Luka's closer to a championship now. Didn't Dallas in 2024 get to the NBA? Weren't they in the finals?
Yeah, I think so.
Weren't they in the finals?
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken? Yeah. Or at least the Western Conference final. I mean, they got to the Western Conference final. I thought they were in it, and then they end up losing it, and they haven't won one since Dirk and Jason Kidd was the point guard. So it is, you just can't do that. And if you're going to do it, you better win. And they're not winning. So
and then
this is a move that was expected.
The whole other level to it is not only were Dallas fans pissed, but all of NBA fans were pissed outside of LA because where'd you trade Luka? To the Lakers,
To the Lakers.
to LeBron, and it just has this gross feeling of, oh, we're just trying to set LeBron up, this
Here we go again. Yeah.
It's just, there's so much, so many layers to this firing that when you look back to the Luka trade and other stuff and then it was also, oh, you traded Luka to LeBron, to the Lakers to help them get better. We're going to reward you with Cooper Flag, by getting the number 1 pick when you didn't have the best odds. And so there's just a lot of layers to this. And it just makes you, with all the gambling stuff going on, they want to build a
gambling complex in Dallas.
Questions. Yes. It just makes you ask so many questions about the
How
NBA.
did you guys get Cooper Flag after all this, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So with the pick, but the bottom line says if they didn't come out and play well and Anthony Davis wasn't doing his thing, this was inevitable. It was going to happen.
All right, before we get out of here, we got 2 more things. Sean, I just want to play this video. I don't know where this was, what was going on in the game. It was just a video I saw yesterday, and it made me laugh for 10 minutes because I just kept.
And I have not seen this, right, Segs?
Yeah, you're not. Maybe you saw it, but it was something. Just watch this. It looks like a high school football game, and it's just the most unexpected thing you can imagine. Go ahead and roll the game.
There you go.
Okay. Good tackle. Great tackle. Yeah.
What are we doing here? What the flying 2-foot kick in the back like he's at his martial arts class? Okay, guy makes a tackle, no problem. Bam! Now, I understand protecting your teammates, but are we kidding?
It was just a tackle. It wasn't like he slammed him on his head or something.
Right, or pick him up and pile drive him. The other guy's like, what in the hell happened? Yeah, aren't you going out? Now, look at everybody kind of standing around. His team. I think what happened, that normally like that, if it's an NFL, benches are empty and it's a fist fight. Look at everybody's like shocked. Like, is this guy serious?
What just happened?
That's a classic. Guess what he's not going to be doing the rest of the year?
Playing.
Playing whatever playoff they're in or what have you. I mean, I'll tell you what, it's a great kick.
Yeah,
great job by him. His martial arts is working, but probably misplaced. Now look at all the guys in blue. They're like, what the hell's this cat doing?
Yeah.
The referee, they're like, what? I'm not sure they even realize what they've seen. Look at that. Oh, beautiful. Look at that. Tucked, compact, and he gets explosion with the leg drive. Watch this. Bam. Lands on his ass. That'll be bruised for about 6 weeks. And then he gets a push. Unbelievable, man. And then, look at was that number 2 or is that section 2? He's just second there. They're all like,
he just turns like, what just happened?
Turn his back like, what am I supposed to do to this cat? Yeah. I'll tell you what though. He stuck the landing. That's for sure.
It's like that kid had just been waiting for that moment.
Oh yeah,
all season long.
Like, a little harder than I like. Someone go right.
Maybe I'm just gonna wait till someone slams somebody down, and then I'm just gonna boom hit him with the drop kick.
I got a perfect shot to his back, man. I'm gonna take it. Yeah, no doubt about it.
I mean,
by the way, I had a question here, real quick, from C. Cole. Is Sean a Vikings fan? I'm a Vikings fan because I love the organization. I love the fans, but I'm not on their payroll, so I grew up a Raider fan. But if they still want to pay me, I can become a Vikings fan through and pick them over the Raiders. But right now, I do. I love the folks there and great fans. But my Raiders have been in my soul forever. I just never.
Another great thing from this past weekend. So I've mentioned that I'm going to my little cousin's varsity football playoffs. One's quarterback, one plays defensive back, wide receiver. And so I'm at the game Saturday. It's late in the game. They won 64-50 in the rain, cold, crazy game.
So not a lot of defense in that game, huh?
Not a lot of defense in that game. So late in the game, this other school, we're playing Metamora, it's called. There's this number 3 who's been talking shit all game to my little cousin that's the wide receiver DB. Just there, I mean, they've gone at it all game. Late in the game, they're down 2 scores. It's under a minute left. And we get, Morris, my cousin's team, run, get a tackle, clock's running, game's almost over. This number 3 gets up and he's trying to fight people at this point.
Because they're done and it's a basketball.
Yeah, his own teammates are grabbing and pulling him back. And finally a teammate runs up, grabs him by the back of the shoulder pads and yanks him and walks him to the sidelines. Then out of nowhere, which I can only imagine is his mother, number 3's mother, just yells, "Get off the fucking field. Act like you've been there before. Quit talking shit. You're losing by 2 touchdowns and you've given up fucking 64 points." She just goes off. The whole stadium can hear it.
But were they laughing too? Because she
we
makes a
were
great
all
point.
laughing. But I mean, she's across the field, and you could just hear her clear as day, like
echoing.
we were sitting talking. Oh yeah.
So
Just
was she
echoing
talking to
across
her
the
own
field.
kid? Like,
I
get your
believe
ass
it
off
was the
field.
mom. Yeah.
I like
quit
it.
talking shit. You're losing by. Act like you've been there. And
act like you're taking an ass kicking. So put some respect on it. Take your ass whooping like a grown ass man and get off the field, right? When mom gets involved, you know it's classic, dude. You know when you go home, you ain't getting post game pizza. Mom's is about to light your ass up.
No you're
doubt.
lucky you're riding the bus home. That it's not like youth football when you got to ride home with your parents.
Yeah, or we're gonna walk. You're gonna walk home in the rain after giving up 64 because people were hitting 3-point jump shots in a football game. Right there, you go.
Oh, crazy! All right, our bet of the day, as we do every single day, we got Louisville, Kentucky. Maybe one of the best rivalries in college basketball. We've got Louisville -5.5. Louisville's ranked 12th. Kentucky's ranked 9th. 174.5. Kentucky, a younger team trying to come, along, whereas Louisville's a little more established. I think, in terms of both coached really well, but I feel like I got to give the edge to Louisville here. 5.5, but it's early. You never know what happens in these early rivalry games. But I think Connie Ruth's for Louisville, I think is the best player on the floor right now in terms of where everything stands. So that's why I'd give the edge to Louisville, and I'd probably take Louisville minus the 5.5, and I would do the under as well.
That got me when I saw what game we were doing. Give me the under. A lot of times in rivalry games like this, Segs, nerves are flying, so maybe you're not as smooth shooting the ball,
especially early in the season.
That's what I'm saying. If this was post January, after January, I'm probably taking the over because they're going to run up and down the floor.
Agreed.
I got the under, and give me Louisville as well, Segs, in this game. And I had fun with the Alabama. Why am I losing? Chris
St. John's.
Mullins. St. John's game. I'm watching. I went into that game. I took St. John's, and boy was Patino. I mean, not St. John's, but I took Alabama. Boy was Patino pissed. I ain't seen worse defense. Oh, dude, he was pissed because his team played no defense. But I got that one because St. John's was 5th or 6th in the country going into that game, and we know Alabama's run the last few years. But in this one, Segs, I like. At first, you think Louisville, Kentucky, man, early in the season, both ranked pretty high. This has the feel of a late, buzzer beater shot. But I got Louisville. I love this game, and I can't wait to tune into it. I got Louisville, and I'm giving those points away, and I would take the under in this. 180-plus points in this early on. That'll be a tough get to, unless, of course, St. John's decided up and play defense like they did last week. In their game, I would imagine Louisville and Kentucky, a few nerves keep the score down, at least early, and especially early in the season. Give me the under in Louisville in the game.
Yeah, it's a college basketball night for me. We got Michigan's playing Wake Forest, my Wolverines, and they're one of the best teams in the country. You got Florida State, Florida. Florida's already lost a game, the defending champ.
Athletic. Yeah.
Lost to Arizona. They play Florida State, a tough Florida State team as always. And we got Kentucky, Louisville.
They always can bully teams. They're long and athletic. They always are. And you talk about teams that we say don't lose the soul of physicality. Florida State always has a little bit of that in. Maybe not quite like a Michigan State, but they're athletic. They bang you around a little bit. Always do.
And then we got number 11 Texas Tech taking on Illinois and Champaign. That's a top 15 matchup. And then we end the night.
Great game, Segs. Yeah, it's a great game.
And then we end the night with Creighton at Gonzaga, a top 25 matchup. So, I mean, it's a great. And then next week is the Champions Classic, where we got Duke, North Carolina, Michigan State, and Kansas all playing in 2 games. So
we got set your clock by on Tuesday night basketball tonight.
Yes.
And next week with that Classic, you want to set your watch by all those, no doubt about it.
So we'll let you know who wins, and I'm sure if you're going to ride with Sean and I would suggest college basketball over the football we've been predicting, because it's not been good lately.
Well, who would have thought 10-7? Because you got it right.
Well, yeah.
You had Philadelphia by a field goal. I had Green Bay by a field goal, and we both had the under. I just didn't think it was going to be 17 points under,
Right.
Meaning the 17 total. But the NFL, good luck. If you're one of those that's living in the NFL and you're winning 60% of your games, God bless you. That's why I'll do it, but I usually reserve to Saturdays and college hoops and the rest of it.
Yes.
But I love this time of year, especially the start of the hoop season. And tonight's got a great basketball night written all over it, and I'm pumped up for it.
Yeah, tomorrow we'll get more into the NFL, and we want to talk about the Seahawks. We want to talk about
nobody's talking enough about them, Segs.
Nobody's talking
maybe
about
because they're
the
stuck on the
Seahawks.
West Coast and stuff. And also another thing, we were going to talk college football. We got this Caleb stuff was needed today, and the Brian Kelly stuff is after we see the where the rankings are. We'll give you our top 10 of how we feel about it tomorrow as well.
Yes, so we got plenty to talk about. We also want to talk about this MLB gambling with Emmanuel Clase and Luis Ortiz, and what's going to happen to them, and what is the future of prop bets, period, in sports
you're
betting.
trusting prop bets nowadays in sports, you're probably making a mistake, man.
Yes.
Because some of these prop bets are not all the way around, but some of them get you. Put it this way, it'll make you a little insecure seeing what we've seen the last month. That's for damn sure.
100%. All right. Thanks to Triple E. Thanks to Laura. Thanks to Bailey. Happy Veterans Day to all our veterans.
Yes. Thank you, guys. We love you, man.
Yes. Enjoy your day. As like Sean said, it should be a lot more than that. And we will be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central. We'll talk to you guys later. Peace.
UNPAVED, Sean Salisbury here for bringing authentic, real stuff to you. Hardcore opinion.
John Salisbury, a great NFL analyst, a former NFL quarterback.